99% of companies in Web3 fail not because their product is trash, but because they never get seen. And the most successful founders and companies that I've talked to over the last 2 to 3 years understand how to engineer attention at any given point. So in today's video, we'll go over 3 secrets to going viral in Web3, and I'll show you the exact same funnel that we've taken all of our projects through to ensure the millions of impressions from the start, and how to put these 3 secrets together. Before we dive in, just to give you a little bit of context on why you should even listen to me, I've been in the space for the last 4 years, 3 years, running a company for the last 2 years, which is a marketing firm where we've helped over 60 plus projects go to market successfully. And we've helped them raise millions of dollars, get tens of millions of impressions, and we've implemented every single strategy we're going to go over here many, many times. So diving into the 3 secrets of virality. Number 1, kicking it off with founder-led marketing. The truth is that people trust people much more than they trust logos. Here I put 4 examples of some of the most successful founders that I've talked to personally and know. Number 1 being Leon Aboud, Alex is Building, Miggy, and obviously Luke and Ned, founder of Pudgy Penguins. And the truth is that they've all built their community and success on trust, which is the main reason their community is still around. When you look at Unfungible and Leon Aboud, this isn't a Web3 project like regular. They run a marketing service where they've been able to generate over $2 million a year. Alex is Building, these guys have been around for the last 4 years. And the truth is that every time I talk with him and I ask him like, hey, Alex, how have you done it? Is that he understands that people trust people. And he understands that as a founder, you need to create content and you need to connect with the people that you're building, who you want to be part of your community. Here, I was recently looking over my timeline, and I realized that one of the most recent and successful case studies for founder-led marketing was Project X, led by Lamboland. A lot of you are probably familiar with Lamboland from PacMoon, and he's recently prepared to launch a new project called Project X, which, as you can see, has gotten over 22 million or 22,000 followers, and they have posted absolutely nothing about it. Lamboland has built the trust and the brand so that anytime he talks and he launches something, people are more than willingly to support him. So how do you build a founder-led campaign? I just wanted to simplify things so that you guys can go and implement this right away. And I really broke it down into just a couple things. So you need to post 2 to 3 times a day. Spend 1 or 2 hours of your day talking with your communities. This is probably the most important one. You want to build rapport with others. What do I mean by this? You want to build connections with the creators, with the founders, with the launchpads, with everybody, so that you have a broad network that you can tap into at any given point. You want to get on more spaces and podcasts. You want to talk about your vision, your mission, where it is that you're going, what it is that you guys are building. Everything related to sharing the vision, you want to talk about it on spaces and podcasts. And then last but not least, you want to show up every day. And this is pretty straightforward. Every single founder that I know has shown up every single day nonstop, because this space just does not sleep. So that's number 1. And this is probably one of the most impactful and cost-efficient strategies that I'm going to talk about here. Number 2, KOLs marketing. KOLs are the version of what I like to call paid ads in Web 2. They have the audience, they've built the trust, and they have the awareness that you can just tap into at any given point, and basically you just pay them for this. And I know this works because we've spent probably over 6 figures, close to 7 figures, on working with creators and paying out to creators alone over the last 2 years. Here I put 3 examples of some of the best creators that not only we've worked with, but we've seen on the timeline. So Pix, Whale, ISOBeast, these are probably names that you're very familiar with. And the truth is that when you're looking for creator to work with, obviously this depends on the budget, but there's a couple principles that we've liked to follow every time we're onboarding a project that we work with, which is you want to find creators who fit your niche. So if you're a gaming project, you want to find creators who are in the game industry. If you're launching, Bubble Map, for example, they partner up with Pix because it just makes sense. Pix's content aligns with what Bubble Maps is doing. Number 2, you want to make sure they provide some form of value to the community. And there is a lot of creators out there who have numbers for the sake to just have numbers. And this means that they're going wide rather than deep. And you want to work with creators who are going deep rather than wide, because your marketing spend and your marketing dollars are going to go a lot further with these creators. Number three, the best creators don't bounce around and around narratives. And when you think of creators, their main goal is to get impressions, right? And what happens is that whenever there's a new narrative, creators are very happy and very fast to switch on to that new narrative, which means that they're not ever building real trust with their community. So that's number three. And last, number four is you want to utilize different types of creators: micro, video, educational, etc. So what I mean by this is that a lot of teams that I talk to, they think that they can go and just pay the highest tier creators, pick 4 or 5 guys, and they're going to get the best results possible. And the truth is that when you're working with creators, you want to have a mixture of everything. So you want to work with micro KOLs. You want to work with some of the higher tier KOLs. So some of the guys that I mentioned here, Pix, Whale, ISO Beast. You want to work with creators who make video content. You want to work with creators who do live streams, who do threads. So you want to have a good mixture so that you're tapping into as many niches and as many content types as possible. So creators, KOL marketing is the second, and this is probably the most high leverage thing you can do, because the more money you have, the more creators you can pay, the more attention you get at any given point. So if you make these two together, you have a very, very solid campaign already. But the third secret is one that a lot of projects that I know and I speak with skip, and it's not one of the ones that they think about so much, but this would be partnerships. If we're looking at these three options, I have founder-led marketing, KOL marketing, and partnerships. The most cost-efficient would be founder-led and partnerships, and I'm going to go over why now. The only way to leverage attention fast and for nearly no money is borrowing attention. And this is where partnerships pretty much come in. So there are two types of partnerships that any project can do starting today. So you have strategic partnerships and you have simple, more common collaborations. So just diving a little bit into strategic partnerships, this is where the names of like Cetify, Avalanche, Pudgy did a partnership with NASCAR, which is obviously a massive company. So when you're talking about strategic partnerships, these are the high impact partnerships which take longer to nurture, but are the most important. So what I mean by this is that you're not going to get a partnership with NASCAR overnight. This is going to take months or weeks, maybe even years to nurture. Right? When you're talking with Cetify, a launchpad partner, this is going to also take a couple of days, up to a couple of weeks. When you're looking for ecosystem partners, these are conversations that are held over weeks, but do have the biggest impact and the biggest leverage you can pull on, because these guys have probably the biggest communities you can partner up with. Now, going into collaborations, these are the most time efficient because you can pick them up right away. The only thing you need is an NFT collection. What this looks like is just a lot of volume. So when you're looking at these two, you want to think of them in a way of like, you have strategic partnerships, which are the high leverage partnerships that you want to go after, which are just a handful of partnerships. You don't want to do too many because then you dilute the brand. And then collaborations is where you can go all volume, very volume focused, so that you gather as much attention as possible in as little time as possible. So collaborations are low lift partnerships. These are volume driven and can drive a lot of attention very, very fast. This is the exact thing that we take all of our projects through, especially NFT projects, because we have the connections. We've nurtured 300, 500 communities that we can tap into at any given point. So as a project founder, as a company, this is one that I would probably be focusing on a lot. Now, the partnership workflow. How does this actually look like when you're kicking off partnerships? You want to kickstart with simple collabs for volume and attention. So this is, like I said, low lift, easy to implement partnerships that you can do right away. Then you want to lock in an ecosystem partner. Now that you have attention, you have a little bit of leverage that you can take to these ecosystem partners. Here we're talking about AVAX, Solana, Abstract. Ethereum would be a little bit harder. Base, like these ecosystem partners where you're going to be launching your product. Then you want to focus on launchpad partnerships. So who are the launchpads who can bring you the most attention, the most funds, and are the best and most trusted in the space? And then last, you go for bigger partnerships with bigger companies. Now we're talking similar to what Pudgy did with NASCAR. what they're doing with Lufthansa and all these other big companies. So these are IP, more technical partnerships. Like what Boost did with the Simon, one of the biggest YouTube communities in the world. Like these are deeper partnerships that you can build on after you have the attention, you've launched the token, after you have everything sort of piled up. So this is how I believe the partnership workflow should go. Now, to wrap everything up and kind of put it all together for you guys, like I promised at the beginning of the video, this is the exact same funnel we take to go viral every single time. So at the core of the funnel, there is the product. So you want to make sure that the product is good, is ready to use in some way, and it has some sort of virality aspect to it. So when you think of some of the biggest, most viral communities, projects, products in Web3, they follow some sort of aspects, which I can make a video on later on. So you want to make sure that your product is as good as possible before going to market. Market is not going to bring you users. Marketing is not going to bring you revenue if your product is not good. So this is number one. You want to make sure that you have a strong product. Then how do you get attention? Going back to the core 3 secrets, you have founder content plus the network you've built. So this is the founder-led marketing. Then you have KOLs. And then what you want to do with KOLs is you want to do raids and quote retweets. Yeah, I'll specify why in a second. And then last, you want to have the launch partners, collaborations, all ready to retweet, raids, interact with the post that you're doing, etc. You want to drive all of those to a trailer that showcases the product. So this is why you want to make sure that 1, the product is good and ready to go. And 3, you have all the launchpad partners, collaborations, especially collaborations, because this is where you get a lot of the attention. And you want to have a really good, nice looking trailer that drives attention to the product that you're building. If you have a nice trailer and you implement these 3 strategies, there is a 90% guarantee that you'll get over 100,000 impressions. And then how do you maintain attention after you have these 3 strategies come into place? You want to do 4 things. So you want to, 1, find the creators who actually worked and provided you value as a company. Number 2, you want to create engaging content. So you don't want to just launch a really nice trailer, drive traffic to the product, and then just die out for a couple of days, couple of weeks. So you want to create content that actually sticks around with people and keeps them engaged. Number 3, you want to be product driven. So going back to the product, you want to always be making updates, making sure the product is as good as possible, getting feedback, all those sort of things. And then last but not least, this is one that I speak to a lot of founders about, which is be community centric. So what I mean by this is that as a founder, you want to be talking to the community a lot more. This goes into a whole different topic, which is retention, but you want to be community centric, which you want to make sure the community is taken care of, there's no FUD, and they believe in the product. If you're able to implement this, you build out a good product, you use these 3 strategies to drive attention to a nice trailer with showcases the product, and you find creators who work, create engaging content, you stay product driven, and you be community centric, guaranteed success. This is the exact formula that every single project, not only we've worked with, but the biggest projects in the industry have taken to successfully build on for years and raise millions and millions of dollars. So if you're a team and you want help implementing some of these, just feel free to book a call down below. I'll leave my Calendly down there so you guys can book a call with me. And I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you guys have any questions, shoot me a message on X. And yeah,